citizen who now live in Sheffield as a refugee, as asylum seeker. And today I want to speak about refugee rights. I want to speak about another woman from Ukraine who flee from the war, Amina Girikhanova. Amina Girikhanova is a Chechen woman who flee from Russia-occupied Chechnya to Ukraine at first. I want to speak about what's going on in Chechnya. Chechnya is territory that occupied by Russia after two bloody wars. And during this war, near 30% of Chechen population was wiped out. More than 40,000 children was killed. And now situation in Chechnya, it's like in Okeania in Orwell's book. So it's literally, if you say something, some joke about Russian puppet governor of Chechnya, Ramzan Kadyrov, you could be kidnapped and your relatives could be kidnapped. It's literally if you blogger who said something against occupation government in Chechnya, your cats, your home pets could be killed, your children and your parents, your siblings could be kidnapped. So it's really terrible. Russia made Chechnya a terrible place, despite that these people for hundreds of years were fighting for their freedom, and freedom is very, very important to these people, to this nation. It's important part of their culture. So of course Amina Girikhanova don't want her little child to be raised in this environment. She flee from occupied Chechnya to more safe and more free land in this time to Ukraine. After she was before she was tortured in Chechnya. So she flee to Ukraine to save her little boy. And she was living in Kiev, she was living in Lviv like ordinary Ukrainian people, like refugees who flee to Ukraine from Chechnya, from another part of, from occupied territory, like from Crimea. Some Crimea Tatars flee to Ukraine too, after Russia stole Crimea from Ukraine. Yeah, so, but Russia, of course, if Russia don't like someone, you know that Russia made fancy labels for them. Like Russia now call all Ukrainian Nazi and fascist if this Ukrainian not supporting Putin. If some person Muslim and Russian government for some reason don't like them, Russian government just label this person a terrorist. It doesn't matter who this person is. This person could be a liberal, could be leftist, could be even LGBT person, this person could be literally anyone. It was even the case when Russia labeled terrorists atheist people from Caucasus, just because it was from this occupied region, and that just because Russians don't like these people for some reason. Maybe for some force on social media, for some joke that their sibling made in school. So it's like this. It's literally like this. Russia blame it, name it Amina Girikhanova is that Amina Girikhanova is supported terrorists. Of course, Amina Girikhanova don't support any terrorist group. And Russia said that in this time that Amina was in Ukraine, she actually was in Syria. It was completely bizarre accusation because, of course, security service of Ukraine knew that Amina was this time in Ukraine. Security service, of course, refused to give Amina, send Amina to Russian government. And Amina stayed in Ukraine and continued to raise her child before Russia came to Ukraine and started one more bloody war. So Amina, just like many other Ukrainian women, ran away from war-torn Ukraine with her child, and they came to Romania. Like, you know, many Ukrainian families actually came to Romania. But Amina was stopped on the border because Russia added her to Interpol system. And Russia abused the Interpol system. Before that, Russia many times Russia added to Interpol system people from from Northern Caucasus, mostly from Chechnya, that Russian government for some reason don't like. Like I said, in case of Chechnya, Russia couldn't add call people terrorists just for some jokes on posts on social media. So it's literally like that. And Russia added Amina Girikhanova in this list, Interpol list, and Amina Girikhanova was separated from her child that she tried to save from death all this time. And Amina Girikhanova now in prison in Romania. And Ukrainian side give paper that Amina is not a terrorist, that all this time that Russia said that Amina was in Syria, supporting terrorist organization, Amina was actually in Ukraine. So why this situation is important? The situation is important because Russia obviously abused Interpol system. And because Romania, part of European Union, countries is part of European Union, for some bizarre, absurd reason, believe not Ukraine, the country that like everyone in civilized world now supported. But for some reason support this accusation from aggressor, from Russia. So Romania don't believe security service of Ukraine, but believe Russian propagandists, like Russian government. It's completely, in the case of refugee from Chechnya and Ukraine, like from two lands that was bombed by Russia, it's completely, it's, I don't know, I don't have kind of polite words to explain the situation. And this is kind of threat even for me. The threat, I think, for every Ukrainian refugee, because if now Russia could ask people from Northern Caucasus, from Chechnya, calling them terrorists, without any reasons, without any evidence, and the words like, okay, Russia could do it, next time they could call Ukrainian refugee fascists and Nazis like Russia do it in Russian propaganda. They could add this person to Interpol and say, this person is Nazis, send this person to us. Or they could do it with their own opposition, Russian-owned opposition who is against war in Ukraine. They could do it actually to anyone, because if this is a lie, it's the most obvious lie, they could make it any fancy labels, calling terrorists, jihadi, Nazi, fascist, to any refugee and ask them using Interpol system. Now, when Russia became more and more authoritarian regime, so they could do it for people from occupied land in Ukraine, from Crimea, from Northern Caucasus, they could do it. And what I want to say first, of course, justice for Amina Gerikhanova, and stop separating her from her child. It was just a human rights violation and children rights violation, of course. And second, what I want to say, just don't let Russia use Interpol system. Until Russia is country of aggressor country, until Russia have occupied land, Russia shouldn't use Interpol system at all. Now Russia is not, Russia obviously refused to recognize international law, so don't let Russia to use these kind of instruments of international law to abuse human rights. Thank you very much.